seeing us come up. There we go. And I'm going to start the music. And here we go. We're going to dance. Dance with me, Ken.
So you want to be
a cool kid. He is cool. It's a cool dude. I like the drums. That's
I don't know if you can hear. I'm actually tapping on a table.
Oh, that's right. You're my drummer friend. Here we go. Wait for the bridge. Here we go. Make it loud. Bop, 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 bop. There we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the day before Thanksgiving. This is a new edition of We Dish. Two Saucy Dame and Cool Dude. I'm the Two Saucy Dame, and my good friend Ken K is my cool dude. He's back for more punishment. I was going to say he's back for episode 2, and Cool Dude is a spinoff of my show We Dish, Two Saucy Dames with an S on dames. And Ken's good friend and partner Mary Ann is one of my regular dames. She's done about 10 of these with me. So Ken, welcome back. How are you?
Well, thank you. Thank you
for
the
Turkey Day.
Yes,
are you ready?
Yes. A happy Thanksgiving to you as well, and thank you for inviting me back again.
You invited yourself back. You said you sent a message through Mary. Ken wants to come back. I said, great.
Well, you didn't ignore it. You extended the invitation. So
but Ken, it's important. I have changed the banner. People can see, I'm no longer sitting on top of the word dude. And Ken pointed out the first time he was here a couple months ago that it was Saucy Dame and Cool Dud. And I really was very embarrassed by that. So about an hour ago, I went into my graphics, into my Photoshop, and I squished the letters together, Ken, so that they would all fit. So now Cool Dude is underneath too, and that looks better, right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Thank you.
Because I'd rather be a dude.
You are. Let me read the opening here. Yes, this is my show where I talk to real people. They are business leaders. They are scientists. They are musicians. They are teachers. They are people who do interesting things in their lives. They create interesting lives. And there's a backstory. And the backstory is, when is a man able to call himself a cool dude? Or when does he let me call him a cool dude? And what do we learn about what he likes, what he does? We're not doing politics. And we're just having a good time talking about life. So getting to know people say we ought to be authentic, other we don't want to do business, Ken, with people who are not authentic. Well, when you talk about what you like in life and the things that we do and why and how we do them, I gave up on the word authentic. I think it's overused. It's battered and too much use. I call it real deal, real dash deal.
Okay.
Do you like that?
That's good. Got
to put that into Duolingo. We got to put real deal in and we tag it with me. Ken likes. So here we go. Let me read my opening and then and it's different from the last time. You may know us, Bonnie D and Wave, Ken K, 2, seasoned in tech, and we love what we do. From business in schools, halls to socials embrace, show and embrace, Ken. Come on. There we go. We share insights in our savvy people space. That's where we are. Now on We Dish, we're here to play, lighting up life in our uniquely fresh way. And here's the intro. Ken K, we only use initials, not last names. A dude of talents and plethora of skill. I added that word for you. Teaching science for kids' curiosity to fill. A drummer since youth. He still keeps rhythm alive. From beats to biking pedals, a cool dude with drive. 4 marathons well run, 2 half irons to his fame. In music and movement, logic is Ken's game. He likes to play Legos as well as the cards in his hand. Now courting pickleball, you like that?
Yes.
New sporty passion, quite grand. And cooking and kayaking. His multi-energy is keen. Ken's love of life is his cool dude scene. I changed that. I hope you like it.
I really do.
Thank you. So chatting on culture, wacky news we adore, music, food, laughter, and oh, so much more. No politics here. I'm telling you, none. Just joy and delight. Join us live or on demand, day or night. We won't be here at night, but you can find the replay. Meet us for real. There it is. Real deal in our live streaming glow. Ken, show the glow. Glow, glow, glow. Glow, little glow. Comments are welcome. Just be nice. You know who you are. You know. We Dish. 2 Saucy Dame plus Cool Dude. Bonnie D and Ken K. Dishing on life's happy-tude. Did you like it?
I did. And I like the way you play with language. So
thank you.
Especially the courting pickleball. That's good.
You're very kind. I went into the poem that I used when you were here a couple months ago, and I said, no, I've got to freshen this up because Ken probably has an eidetic memory, and he'll remember everything I said the first time. And so, like, there's nothing else better to do. Bonnie, you changed the word. So I went in, I refreshed it, I changed it, and I didn't use Sylvia. You know who Sylvia is?
Oh, is that an AI?
She's my virtual assistant. She's Chat GPT, but she said I could
Okay.
call her Sylvia. And I'm encouraging
That
my
was very,
friends
how
to
nice.
give her names. I know somebody who was just named her Priscilla, and she agreed to that. I can converse in French with her. I can say merci beaucoup, très bien, and she'll write back de rien, and we'll have little bits of French patter in text, and that's very nice because I still dabble a little bit. So here we go.
All right.
Ken, what have you been up to since then? And we're going to get your 3 brand new cool dude songs that you relate to, that
Yeah,
describe you,
sure.
that define you. Go ahead. What have you been up to?
Okay. Oh, well, I traveled north to Chicagoland and visited family for a while, and they play pickleball up there too, so I did a bunch of pickleballing up there. And we've had a rather mild autumn, so I could play outdoors quite a bit, the pickleball,
Ooh,
and
nice.
also got some biking in. So it was great because I do remember when I was doing 5Ks pretty regularly, the coldest race that I ever ran in was actually a turkey trot on Thanksgiving Day.
Really? Where? Where
Yes,
was that? Where?
it was actually Chicago's lakefront, and it was so cold that when I tried to change in from my old running shoes to the shoes I was going to run the race in, I took my gloves off to do the laces. My fingers wouldn't work. That's how cold it was. And it was the only time I tried running with what do they call those balaclavas, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I'm going to trip over something because even that little bit of material under your eyes was obscuring my vision. So I was just like, it took me forever to thaw out after that race. November is a mixed bag. You can have pleasant temperatures. You can also have really cold temperatures. So anyway,
I
yes,
want to interject here. Balaclava, I'm only used to seeing those. I watch a lot of French detective shows in
okay,
French. And usually it's a very strong woman, police person, detective, wannabe, a restaurant owner who dabbles in investigations, whatever it is. No, that's an Australian one. Anyway, balaclava is usually something I see on those European where it's somebody who puts the hood on and they rob you, where they blow up your
yes,
building or
yes,
something like that. So I wasn't aware that balaclava, for those who don't know, is like a hood that comes over and it has holes for your eyes and
yes,
a little bit for your breathing and mouth too, I think, as well.
yes, yep.
And it hides your identifiable features completely, and it comes down to about here, right? About the top of
It
just below the
it can.
shoulders.
I mean, the idea was for warmth, but then
Mm-hmm.
it's also very good at obscuring everything but, you know, your eyes. So I think that's why those unscrupulous types would select that to it.
Unscrupulous. I know.
Unscrupulous, unscrupulous.
No scruples. No, we're gonna be slicing and dicing language in addition to
Yes,
turkey here today.
that's
What are
great.
what are your songs, Ken?
Oh, my songs. All right, we're moving on to the songs. Enough of that.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, you might recall last time one of the songs I selected was "The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald" by Gordon
Mm-hmm.
Lightfoot. Kind of in a similar vein, "Allentown" by Billy Joel. Uh,
Oh,
Again, telling a story, but I love the music, I love the lyrics, and I am a Billy Joel fan, so I got to put that on my list.
so cool dudes are Billy Joel fans.
I would say so. Yeah.
And Billy Joel is definitely a cool dude, right?
He sure is. He
There you
sure
go.
is. So,
Okay.
okay, so add that one to my list.
Okay.
Um, and another favorite of mine is Wind of Change by Scorpions.
Okay.
Um, you know, that came out of Perestroika, early 90s, 1991.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the haunting melody. I like the lyrics. It's just, and I think it really shows quite how versatile Scorpions are. You know, because you think of like what is it? Probably their most iconic song is "Rock You Like a Hurricane,"
Mm-hmm.
and this is like you say. Wait a minute, the same group is doing this. So I just shows their talent, their versatility, as in terms of creation and also performance. So, "Wind of Change," and
I like that.
thank you. And the third one is just coming out of left field. Um, Video Killed the Radio Star.
Oh yeah, video killed the
by the
radio
Buggles.
star,
Yep.
the
Yep.
Buggles. Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
it's just a fun tune. It's got a little bit of history in there too, because it's talking about moving from, very much audio-based entertainment to we need the video too. And so and also much like when I selected Aha's Take on Me, the music video is, I think, very creative and it is unique as well. So those are my
Thank
3 for
you.
this week or for this
And
time or whatever
well,
we
you'll be back. I just read this morning a statistic, and we all know what to do with statistics, yes, that most quote unquote podcasters are doing video, which is interesting
Okay.
because it used to be I was doing live radio on the phone when I started Roundtable Thought Leadership when I was
Okay.
working for SAP in 2011. And I did 48 different series, but they were all on the phone. And I could have 4 people at a time on the phone lines, and they drop in on 4 other guests for my Crystal Ball year-end specials,
Okay.
which is about to start now. But what's interesting to me is there's talking about language. People write to me all the time, "Oh, you've got a podcast." I say, "No, I'm a streamer. I'm a live streamer." I differentiate because to me, now my shows are live, but they are recorded and they're available on demand. At that point, does it become a podcast? To me, it's a recorded replay of a live stream
Sure.
show.
Sure.
They're not pre-recorded, they're not edited or what I called
Right.
scrub. There's nothing wrong with that, but I choose the energy because I did live TV for years and live terrestrial radio, and there's nothing like the energy and that verve and that push of going live. I call it broadcasting without a net, and I have no idea
Yeah.
why I'm telling you that. So people say that
No,
they're
no, it's
video
okay.
podcasters, and I'm thinking, well, video live streamer. So I differentiate when people say, "Oh, you have a podcast." I say, "No, I'm a live streamer." And I think the industry, if I can call it that, is starting to differentiate the two. And we're
Sure.
equally important to the media sphere, right, Ken?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's
So,
a different way of approaching it. That's all. I
mhm.
like without a net. I think I don't know who. Oh, I used to have somebody named Annette on my TV, but I don't know what happened to her. Anyway, the point is that there's something I did. I did live TV on cable in New York on Long Island for years,
But without a
and
net, she
without
was
an
left out of it.
she worked, she was the receptionist for the hairdresser when we did our annual special. She'd come, yeah, I had Elvis impersonators and a big cake and all that, but Annette was there first couple of times. But when I did live TV or recorded TV, I felt the difference.
Oh,
You,
absolutely. There's no doubt about that.
you just feel it. And we're just here. Anybody who wants to make a comment about that, just go ahead. But to me, live without a net, unfettered, unabashed,
Yes.
unapologetic, and
Hmm.
unedited. That's the
Sure.
main thing. Is it is what it is. C'est ça, right? That's
Right.
the
No,
French.
and I agree. As a musician, I found that frequently my best um, playing of a particular piece was the first time I sight read it.
There you go.
And that's the equivalent of
Yes.
live,
Yes.
but
Absolutely.
obviously you still have preparation. You don't
Oh,
just you're
of
not
course.
like going in like have never picked up a pair of drumsticks before. So
Wait a
there is
minute. Hold on. Hold on. 6 weeks after I started drum lessons, well,
uh-huh.
a week after I said to the people at the School of Rock, I'm enjoying this. I'm learning how to move my hands and my feet and tapping the pedal and moving the sticks. And now I know what my left hand and my right hand are doing. But what am I going to do with it? They said, "Oh, we have an adult band and we're looking for a drummer, one of our adult bands." I said, "Okay." So I started going Monday nights and paying them even more money in snow and rain in Raleigh-Durham, Cary area of North Carolina. And 6 weeks later, I was on stage at, I can't remember the name, something Rockaco, something in downtown Durham at a
Wow,
big venue. And I was on stage with one of the adult bands.
that's
And one of
awesome.
my songs, Ken, one of my songs today is Dream On by Aerosmith, because that
Wow.
was one of the first songs I learned with this band, which had 2 guitars, a bass, and no wind instrument, 2 guitars, a bass, and 3 girl singers, women,
Wow.
female singers.
Sure.
Yes. And I remember the incredible, oh my God, am I really doing this? And this place, I can't remember the name, something Co, and it was bleacher style seating and mostly just a crowd stood there. They had 15 bands, and some of them were kids 5, 6 years old, and they were playing Beatles songs, and their teacher was singing and helping them with the drums, and all the way up in age into the adult band. So I was one of the two adult bands. One had been together for a long time, and I was the new kid on the block. And I remember going up on that stage, and my heart skipped, and I said, Bonnie, are you really doing this here? Picking up drumsticks, Ken K. There
Yes,
you go.
yes.
And I
Well,
did it. And I just want to tell you a thrill, because at the end of Dream On, at the end of Dream, and these were all parents and friends of the kids mostly, and
sure,
those of us who were adults brought our adult friends.
sure.
At the end of Dream On, I raised my sticks to do the final hit,
Hmm.
and one of the lead guitar turned around. He had never done this in rehearsal. And he looked at me and lifted his guitar up, and we mentally synced, and we came at the same exact second, nanosecond, millisecond, and we
Sure.
hit my drums and his last note, and we were right there. And that
Yeah.
had not happened in a month of rehearsals. He had
Sure.
never done that.
Yeah.
So yes.
But
And people said to me, "How long have you been playing drums?" I said, 6 weeks. I said, "What?" So
yeah.
it worked out. So go ahead, finish your thought. I'm sorry, I had to tell you
No,
that.
it's okay, and thank you for sharing that. But that is what you describe is what I think performance is all about. It's
Yes.
yes, the performers have an audience, but the audience gives something back to the performance as well.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that is what makes it such a uniquely human and positive experience. And so, yeah, I can think of times where I just felt so privileged to be part of a musical group
Mhm.
where you just feel this connection, and the music is the vehicle that allows you to establish that connection and then share that connection. So, um, I don't know what life would be like without music, but
I agree.
it would be losing more than a dimension.
Well, it would. Music is the key to our lives. They say people who are losing their memory will remember songs from their youth and from their
Sure.
earlier adulthood. But to me, the connection with the band is the first element
Hmm.
before I think about the audience is,
Oh, for
are
sure,
we
for
in
sure,
sync? Are we? And I was
sure.
the lead drummer for a band called Still Kickin' in Durham, and we were 12 or 14 pieces, and I was a co-drummer, and then the other drummer got ill, and I took over just drumming me, and I was the MC. And I had to lead every song with a little bit of a history of it. And I had to look, and the singers would give me a nod, they were ready, and then the guitar and bass would turn around, and the keyboard would turn around, and we knew. And I was told, till you get that verbal or that nod, okay, from the others, don't start. Don't start the drums. Wait for if I had the first lick, that was fine. If somebody else was starting, make sure everybody is in sync. And we played 9 songs a set, and this went on. We did two concerts a day at
Wow.
one point. And then I had a Latin band called Blueberry. What was my Latin band called? Blueberry Jam, I think, because I lived on Bloomsbury Manor, and I called it Blueberry Jam. And we were the break band. So I was on stage for almost the whole 2 hours of the set
Wow.
one, set two, and the Latin band. Then we took a half-hour break, and then we brought in the next audience. It was so much fun.
Yeah,
So much fun. It was so
absolutely.
my songs, one is Dream On by Aerosmith. And the reason for
Okay,
that is not just that I played that in public,
sure.
but I have dreamed on as to how I want to be out here in this sphere, talking to smart, interesting, fun people like you. And I made the dream happen. I just
Hmm.
said, I'm starting a show, and do you want to be with me? And people have said yes. So Dream On is one. Another one that goes with Cyndi Lauper's Girl Just Want to Have Fun and
Sure.
Patti LaBelle's New Attitude. So those all go together. Another one is Bill Medley's I've Had the Time of My Life from Dirty Dancing. Well, I'm still having the time of my life. And I love that a lot. And another one is Queen, Don't Stop Me. Don't Stop Me Now. Don't stop me now. I'm having such a good time. I'm having a ball. If you want to have a good time, just give me a call. Don't stop me now. I'm not a big Queen fan, but this really, and that goes with Bon Jovi's It's My Life. My heart is like the open highway. Like Frankie said, I did it my way. I just want to live while I'm alive. It's my life. So those are my Those are my Saucy Dame songs. They're
Well,
all
thank you
fun.
for sharing those. Yeah.
Well,
Nice.
I'm the host. I'm supposed to say thank you for sharing. You're welcome, guest. There we go. So let's go into our topics today. Our topics are, it's the day before Thanksgiving. By the way, my 5.5 pound turkey breast came out of the freezer this morning. I asked Alexa to remind me, and it is in the fridge, and I'm told 5 pounds takes 24 hours to defrost.
Okay.
But I'm aware that I'll probably put it on the kitchen counter at around 10 tomorrow morning and give it a 2-hour room temperature defrost. So, holiday shopping. Ken, are you an inline or online or in-person brick and mortar person? Do you use wish lists or gift cards, or you just buy what you think somebody wants? Are you a good wrapper? No, I mean a gift wrapper. So,
Yes.
all
I
of the
got that.
above. Go ahead. All the above.
Put the W in front of the R. I got
There
it.
you go.
So the online versus brick and mortar, there's pros and cons to both. And I guess I like the convenience of being online. You can, get anything from anywhere. You can also do a lot of research. So you have to be careful because you can spend way more time doing all that research, reading the reviews, sifting through everything. So convenience versus, and I think most of us still like, oh, is this the right thing really? I want to physically see it. I want to really the picture is a little ambiguous or whatever. So, but all said and done, I think I'll go with online.
Okay.
I think that's what we've moved to. But I'd still rather read a book than read a tablet. Okay. So,
Okay. So, and for other people, do you prefer listening to what they ask them? What do you want? Do you use wish lists? Do you buy e-gift cards? What do you prefer? How do you give gifts, Ken?
Okay, well, this is gonna be a two-parter.
Sure.
The first thing I'm gonna say is I used to put so much thought into finding the perfect gift for everybody, and I feel like that used to be doable. I just feel like it's I don't know whether it's our 24/7, 365 society.
Mhm.
It just and now I was shocked. November 1st, there's a radio station, and I'm sure every major market has one that plays exclusively holiday themed music,
Mhm.
leading up to December 25th. Great. It used to start the Friday after Thanksgiving. Would you believe they started November 1st now? It's
Yes.
almost like Thanksgiving is an afterthought. We go
Yes.
straight from Halloween to the Christmas season. And it's almost by the time you get to Christmas, it's lost its magic. And I hope it's okay that I'm saying Christmas because
Yes, it's fine. It's
I just
fine.
want to be sure.
We celebrate lots of things, and Hanukkah and Christmas are on the same day this year.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So leading up to the holiday, whatever holiday it is that or holidays, I knew I had friends that had a parent of, different religious backgrounds and said, "No, it's fantastic. We get to celebrate two things." So, anyway, it's I don't know. It just seems I'm disappointed. It used to be just building the excitement from December 1st to the end of December.
Mm-hmm.
Took a lot of patience, and now it's already starting November 1st. It's by the time you actually get to the holiday, it's like, oh, I feel like it's over already. So I think now the type of present that most of the people that I'm close to prefer is presents. So being able to get together,
Nice.
to share a meal, to catch up on things, to
In
talk,
person.
and not get into like, oh, I got you this, gift that I don't know if you like or not,
Oh,
or a
thanks a
gift
lot.
card. It's nice to give something, but I think the most precious commodity today is time. And so I'm going to say the present that I would like to get or the present I would like to give is presents.
That's very
And
sweet.
I think also doing something experiential as opposed to something tangible. We just have so much stuff. It's nice to just have an experience as opposed to have a thing.
I appreciate that. That's very, very sweet. My family is an e-gift card family because we live in so many different places, and my granddaughters are both in graduate school. And I give them an Amazon gift card, e-card that's delivered in 5 minutes, and then I ask them take a picture of whatever you buy and
Yeah.
send it to me. And that
Yeah.
makes it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But I find wish lists hard to use because you don't know which one, and then you have declared, I'm only going to spend $20 on you. I'm only going to spend 50 because everything has a price tag with it.
Sure.
And
Sure.
it's the same if you buy a physical gift, but you're basically picking, I'm going to declare for you what you're worth to me in a wish list. And sometimes you don't, it opens a window to personal choices that sometimes I don't want to have with people's wish lists. I don't
Mhm.
want to know exactly what books they want. I don't want to know what kind of a hat they want to wear. I don't want to know what kind of cosmetics they want to use. I'm not interested in that peek into their life. I would rather give them the card and let them decide. Hey, I got $100 gift card, or I got a $50. I think I'll buy that hat and that cologne for myself. I want them to have the joy of shopping their own wish list. So
Mhm.
that's what we do. Are you a gift wrapper, Ken? Do you remember
Um,
how to wrap a gift?
oh, definitely. In fact, I am kind of the designated
Oh,
wrapper in this time of year. Yes, and also for like birthdays and other things. So yes,
wrapping Ken's got the paper,
yes.
Ken's
So
got the
yeah,
twine, Ken's got the ribbon.
and
He's gonna
I
wrap
I
in time.
I
Sorry.
don't want to say I'm the best wrapper, but I'm pretty good at sizing it and folding it and taping it,
Okay.
and yeah, I'm not fast per
You
se,
didn't say
but
anything about my wrap. I just wrapped for you.
sometimes it's better to just like ignore those things.
Gee, thanks. Okay. I remember the days when you would go to a department store and you would buy the gift and you would go to the gift wrap department and it was
Right.
a counter. It could be a kid on holiday break, a boy or a
Mhm.
young teenage boy or
Sure.
man or woman, female or male,
Sure, sure.
whatever they were. And they would know and they would say, okay, if you want the store paper, it would have the logo or the label or the picture
Right.
of Bloomingdale's or Gertz, I'm going way back, or Macy's,
Sure.
whatever on it. Or you could pay to have the expensive paper, and that would be something with flowers or butterflies or Christmas decorations or Hanukkah
Sure.
menorahs or something, and that would
Sure.
be maybe an extra $3. And then they
Sure.
would look at the pick present and they would eyeball that they were taught how
Mm.
to do this.
Mhm.
Calculation was imperative. And they would
Sure.
say, okay, length times width times two for the top and bottom,
Sure.
and then the sides, and
Sure.
then the fold over. And they would say, okay, and they would silently roll this paper out and they would cut it off and then they would lay the gift on it and they would do folding beautiful creased seams at the edges and
Mhm.
put it together in those points where they would put just a little bit of tape but enough to hold it, and then you would have
Right.
get to pick the ribbon. Did you want the store ribbon, which was cheap stuff, or did you want the fancy bow, or did you want the one that had 15 streamers coming out of it, or did you want the little heart that went with it, a little bell that went with it? And by the time you were done, you could spend part of what you paid for the gift for the wrapping. But anyway, I remember those and I was always admiring them. I have taken over the years to just using almost anything that's around for wrapping. I don't think it
Sure.
matters because most people rip it off. But I was telling some friends last week that I learned a trick years ago for creating interesting decorations for a gift.
Sure.
And the decoration is you take any kind of wrapping paper, not the real thin, cheap stuff, but
Right.
you cut a rectangle about so long
Okay.
and or a square, and you cut into it about 1 inch apart and leave about 2 inches at the bottom for a base. So you've got
Okay.
the base you can hold, and you've got these strips. And you take the hard edge of the scissors and you gently curl the paper
Oh,
against the
okay.
scissors
Sure.
and they curl up into like little roller curls like this. Okay.
Sure.
Can't do anything with that. Then you open up each roller curl and you strip into it with the scissors and cut them into streamers that are very thin, careful not to wreck them. And then when you're done, you have all this curly stuff and you manipulate it with your hands gently. And then you can take this base on the bottom and fold it and tape it to your gift and then arrange the streamers so that the wrapping paper and the accessory match.
That is very clever.
Isn't that clever? Somebody
It
taught me
is.
that years ago, many, many years. Somebody I worked with in marketing in a bank in New York. And I
No,
thought,
that brings back a memory of my mom putting ribbon on packages and running the scissor on it to make it curl.
Yep.
So
This is you curl the
I haven't
paper.
thought about that in ages.
Curl
But
the
yeah,
paper. See,
no,
we're
yep.
into Memoryville now. New Year's resolutions, yay or nay?
Yes. I like the concept of a New Year's resolution because it gives you an opportunity to do some self-reflection and then move towards expansion, self-improvement, whatever. But I feel it has become, in this day and age, just something else on your plate, and like I think if you take it seriously, that's awesome. I don't think you have to necessarily pick New Year's, but that kind of guaranteed that at least once a year everyone would do that. So I haven't specifically made one in years. I think it's more an ongoing process of self-reflection and deciding, okay, what do I do about what I'm seeing? So I guess if you force me to pick yay or nay, that's a tough one because yay to the concept, nay to the way it's playing out these days.
See, that's what a cool dude says. So you answered by a cool dude. I don't have anything to do with resolutions anymore. And to me, every day I get up and I say, what am I going to do today? Who am I going to be today? How do I feel today? I'm in a poetry group. I'm writing poetry every day now.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to finish my novel? No. Do I have a date for it? Well, we'll think about it next year, maybe before, was first my birthday, and then it was Thanksgiving, and now it'll be New Year's Eve. I don't know if I finished my novel. And to me, every day is a resolution of what do I want to do and who do I
Sure.
want to be today?
Sure.
Some days when I have no radio shows, I still call them radio, no broadcasts, and I'm all alone, I will still get dressed in a black dress and I will still put on my pretty earrings and I will still fluff my hair and put on my makeup just to be me. If I happen to pass a mirror, I don't have a lot of mirrors in that. If I have passed a mirror, I say, oh, hi, how are you? You look good today. How are you? And I'll have that little tiny conversation. And my resolution is checking in with myself. I'm
Sure.
okay. I'm
Sure.
good. I'm alive and fairly well. Thank you. Next, holiday TV movie favorites. Any classics? It's a Wonderful Life, Charlie Brown, Rudolph, Snow White, whatever, snowy. Holiday Hallmark movies, kids movies. Any preferences where you live?
Yes. So I broke it into, since you said I could do three, I broke it into actually
Yeah,
three
sure.
categories. The
Oh,
first category just brings back fantastic childhood memories. And also, this is before there were things like obviously streaming services, even before VCRs. So you had to patiently wait for the season to come around. And then you had to look and see when is this particular movie or production being aired, literally aired. And so one of my favorites was produced by a company, a production studio called Rankin Bass, and they did a whole bunch of them. And my favorite is probably Little Drummer Boy for obvious
Oh my
reasons.
goodness. Oh, I have to put me back on the screen. I was the piano accompanist for the girls' chorus at Bayside High School. I won't tell you the year. And one of the songs, and I had to go in front of the stage, in front of the auditorium, and
Sure.
announce the song. And one of the songs I had to learn was Little Drummer Boy. And I
Mhm.
can still see me sitting at the baby grand piano on the stage at Bayside High School and go, brum, brum,
Brum,
brum. That was
brum,
all the
bum,
chords were on the
bum.
piano. Brum, 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 brum. And I announced it and then I sat down on the piano bench so go ahead. Oh, you just brought back a memory. Go ahead, Ken.
Well,
Finish. It was
I'm
lovely.
happy that we made that connection.
Me
Um,
too.
and from the same Rankin Bass, I'd say I don't know if it's bass or bass, but I'll go with Rankin Bass. Um, they were so good at doing the stop motion animation. You knew it wasn't real, but they put such life into the characters, and they did. And we're talking late 60s, early 70s, and I think it still knocks the pants off of anything that's being done, computer generated these days. So another one of their good ones was Santa Claus is Coming to Town. I just enjoyed that one so much. It was just fun, and you looked forward to seeing it each year. And my third one in the trifecta was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Oh yeah.
So so those were all stop motion animation. They also did pure animation, and my
Hmm.
favorite from amongst those, so this is my second category, Frosty the Snowman.
Oh yeah.
that and I believe it was Jimmy Durante was actually the narrator that told the story. And
Mm-hmm.
there could be others. Yes, Charlie Brown, the Christmas, but that wasn't my favorite. I really liked Frosty the Snowman best. And I'm reliving my childhood here, but
Why
that's
not?
the beauty of children's programming. If it's done well, the adults like it too.
Very
Uh,
well put. Well,
Thank you.
absolutely. For nostalgia as well as for just the aficionado of the genre, if you will, of the production
Sure.
quality. And also, hey, I never saw that before. That's really cool. I think I'll make it part of my holiday. So yes, newcomers, new lovers. Go ahead.
And okay, and then the third category, yes, it's so easy to pick A Wonderful Life, and it is one of my favorites, and it gets really high ratings, 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I think IMDb gave it an 8.6. So
Mm,
that's good company to if you pick that one. And a close second, or maybe it could be first on some days, is A Christmas Story,
mm,
which has the vibe of being a much older film. I believe it came out in 1983. Also gets pretty good, 89% on the Rotten Tomatoes and a 7.9 on IMDb. So but it's just I like it was it has that same vibe as The Wonder Years because you have the boy
hmm.
narrating things from his perspective, and
Yep.
I think that actually goes that kind of storytelling is a little bit like To Kill a Mockingbird. You
Mm,
get you get the perspective from the child. It's not an adult telling you the story. It's not this, omniscient overview. You're having the story related to you from the child's point of view, which is really powerful, I think. And so um, I guess I'm going to move it to first place. A Christmas
okay.
Story is going to first place.
I think they're very
Also,
honored.
I
Yes.
love um, the father in the story, which many of us that are old enough remember him from Kolchak, the Night Stalker. Um, so it was just fun to see him in a completely different kind of role. So those are my three categories and my best representation in each of those categories.
Very cool. Let's see if we can get some balloons going for you here. Oh, we got confetti for you.
That's
There you go.
I like
I know.
confetti.
And do you like, oh, let's see, we get some, there we go, some fireworks before New
Okay.
Year's. There we go. I go dark and the fireworks come out. Yes, I don't watch holiday movies. They make me cry. And if I'm alone on the holiday and I don't know where I'll be this year, I'll be here, but I don't know if I'll have any family with me. We'll probably do some Zoom calls because everybody's around the country.
Sure.
I don't watch stuff that makes me cry because I don't want to cry anymore. So the only one I really remember enjoying, I think it was called A White Christmas with Bing Crosby and
Oh, um,
Vera Ellen, and isn't that where the sister and was Bob Hope in that and the
I was going
sisters
to say Bob Hope probably
the
sure.
sisters and the two men are dating the sisters and then there's the military and they come in and somebody's retiring and then they bring in the fake
The
snow and
big
it's a
yep.
white Christmas.
Mhm.
That to me was one of the favorites because there's so many production elements in it. It has the
Sure.
singing, it has the dancing, it has the element of surprise, it has the element of meeting and greeting and making new friends and lovers, and it just to me it had it all. I haven't thought about it in years, but as I was listening to you, that came back. I like some of the animated movies. I might watch Charlie Brown is always fun to watch, and the subtext, the analysis of what did Lucy really mean, and what did Charlie say, and what did Snoopy, what was he thinking? Yeah, so to me that's the adult perspective on that. Yeah, those
Sure.
those would be my favorites. One last thing before we get to our wacky news, and we don't call it wacky news anymore. Did you hear that
Oh,
my friend Martin, who is a cool dude, he was the first cool dude before you. I think you were the second one.
okay.
Martin and I came up with, I think he said something during the show and he said, say what? And so the segment of wacky headlines is now called Say What? Yeah, it
Yeah.
has to be
Yeah.
done that way. Say
What? Yeah.
what? Yeah, with a question mark, exclamation, question mark, exclamation.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
So the last thing we're going to cover right now in this part of the show is favorite ways you relax at the holidays. Don't get too personal on this, Ken,
Oh,
but
oh, oh, oh gosh. All right. For the
yeah,
holidays, I was just do
yeah.
it in general,
No, I
but
want to know for the holidays, this
well,
crunch time when you are faced with meals and going places and
sure,
movies and
sure.
gift wrap and visitors and big meals and more. Go ahead.
So, okay, in the original way that when you didn't jump the gun and try to do the holiday a whole month early, but you waited until after Thanksgiving, that was one of the cool things when you went to a department store and you just heard this lovely music coming over the speakers, you know. And so I think when I'm wrapping presents or doing something else, listening to the music is great. And there are some wonderful Christmas themed as well as holiday themed. One of my favorites, because I got to play it every year when I was in the band in high school, was Sleigh Ride.
Oh
And
yeah.
I like that one because first off, growing up in the Midwest where you have 4 seasons, I we talked about seasons last time. I did look forward to Christmas and snow. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I did like, and we did call it Christmas break back then, not winter break.
Yes, that's
Um,
right. We were allowed
but
to.
I did. I looked forward to the snow and you know all the things you could do outside in the winter that you couldn't do, you know,
Mm-hmm.
without the cold weather and the snow. And so Sleigh Ride was just incorporates all that. And being a percussionist, you can appreciate the it's very clever because there's some sound effects in there, like the horse went, you know, yeah, that's, do
Yep.
you know how that was done?
I don't remember. How'd they
A
do
trumpet
that?
player has to do that. And he has to,
Really?
yes, and he has to manipulate both his,
Yeah.
and I think he uses a mute as well to do it, to
Yeah.
get
The
that,
aperture.
yeah, exactly. And you also have the crack of the whip.
Yep.
And I still remember we made a slat board to do that. We
Really?
percussionists, you know, so just two pieces of wood on a hinge, and you know
Talk
that
about
was your.
repercussions.
But I was so privileged. I got to do the horse's hooves on the temple blocks, and I that was the first.
Right?
You know, I talked. You know, earlier I had said, you know, it's not like you picked up a pair of drumsticks and immediately started playing when you sight read. You have background. You know, you can't just do it in a vacuum. I had I don't think I'd ever played temple blocks before, and somehow
Mm-hmm.
intuitively I just did it. No one taught me, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, da-da-da, 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 da-da, da. And I just that was my favorite song. So long answer to your short
How do you
question.
relax at the holidays? You relax.
Enjoy holiday music while doing something,
Isn't
or
that
maybe not
lovely?
doing something. Um, so I'd say another thing is doing some type of season themed activity that
Mm-hmm.
you can't do the other time. Like, so it could just be taking a walk uh, outside after some, you know, like a little bit of snowfall and just
Mm-hmm.
enjoying walking through the neighborhood and seeing the various Christmas decorations and holiday decorations that people have put up
Mm-hmm.
outside their houses and just enjoying that stillness, you know,
Yep.
that's just very relaxing. Um, there's something that quiets the earth when you have freshly fallen snow
Yes.
that just has lightly fallen. I'm not talking about blizzard conditions.
Yep.
I'm not talking about that heavy wet snow. I'm
It
talking about that
smells
light.
outside. Doesn't it
Yes.
smell clean when the snow falls?
Every it's just it's like the earth is getting this nice little
Yes,
blanket, you know.
a,
Yes.
or it's getting a white bath almost. It's getting a cleansing. Because you brought up two memories for me. I'm going to share
Okay.
those briefly with you. Number one, when I was young, we lived in Queens, New York. My
Hmm.
family and I used to, mom and dad would take us in the car, me and my sister, and we would travel on the highways around Queens and look at all of the houses that were lighted up for Christmas
Hmm.
decorations. We were not Christmas celebrants, but we would go and admire. And this wasn't like today where you've got people, you know, a 5 mile line trying to get to see somebody with 10,000 lights on their house.
Yes,
These were
right.
just well decorated houses. And you would go
Yes.
on the parkways, you would say, look at that one, look at, or we go in the neighborhoods, but we never were oogling and ogling and driving into people's driveways and saying, wow, I like your lights. And the second thing is that when I was in Durham and I was in the Still Kicking band and I had my own band, well, the choir at one point asked me, and they already had a drummer. They already had a drummer who he just had a snare. He didn't bring the whole kit. He had a snare and maybe a bass and a couple of a hi-hat, and that was about it. Very simple kit.
Hmm.
But they said to me, we need somebody to play the bells for a sleigh ride and the other songs. So there was a woman who had the keyboard and she specialized. Oh, accordion. She played the accordion and
Okay.
she did sleigh ride on her accordion. Well, at the point where we were in front of this group, I think we did two or three shows, and the bells they gave me, Ken, were on a wooden holder that was so heavy, my wrists were
gosh.
almost had to have X-rays afterwards. So I had to hold it with two hands. It was on this, not a stick, but a piece of wood, and it was very, very heavy with the bells. So we rehearsed. I went to her house with the drummer, and we rehearsed with her. Well, when we got to the actual day of the concert, and we had about 100 people in the audience in our great big, it was not a conference room. It was where we put on plays and bands and concerts. So in the beautiful clubhouse, she decided to speed it up. I kid you not. I'm talking about and I'm going bing 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 bell bing 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 and I'm doing one instead of three bing 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 and the drummer's going and I'm going bing 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 and I'm thinking my wrist is gonna I don't know what got into her, but she double or tripled the tempo of Sleigh Ride.
Wow.
I will never forget. And after it was over, I said, damn, we lived through that one. It was.
Well, I was going to say, I think the horse must have been going down and in. Is that redundant? Going down and in, like going downhill and picking up speed and not being able to slow down.
And the horse was saying nay. The horse was saying, no way, no way, no. It was the funniest. I remember holding those bells thinking, oh my God, what is this woman doing? Anyway, so that was something I regrettably that I did. And I told them, don't invite me back. It's like, okay, no, you need the kid with very strong wrists for that. I would have rather just gone clop, clop, clop on the drums. Anyway, sure. Those are our relaxing. I will probably bake a little bit and I paint some more in my studio and I'm working on some new graphics for some of my shows. I've developed a brand new, I don't know if I dare show it to you. I don't have it ready to show, but I dabbled in I have something called a Crystal Ball Prediction Special. It's my 10th annual year, and I have 40 thought leaders coming on 5 different weeks. So 7 people a week. It's a 1-hour show and they get 4 minutes. Mary is going to be on one of them. They get 4 minutes for any predictions related to AI. That's the theme this year. So 3 weeks in December and 2 in January. And I created a Night Cafe studio, which is where I created what you see behind us here. And I multiplied the girl's face with the wink in Photoshop. So I use both aspects. And I'm very human when I do this. I created a crystal ball with a red microphone inside of it. And then I went into Photoshop and I put one of my pictures from one of my shows with my background. I said, delete background. And then I said, but you've got a white box around me, delete that. And it came up with almost not pixelated, but I'm on little tiny dots behind me, around me, like I'm almost ghost-like. Wow. And I imported that into the crystal ball.
Oh, wow.
If I could find it, I will show it to you. Let me see. Should we do it? Should we take a chance here and see if I can find it? What do you think?
You said that's the beauty of doing something live and unedited.
Let me see if I can find it. The first one, I've got it up here on my screen. Yes, I'm going to share that with you without the names of the guests, without their pictures on it. There are 2 versions. Let me share. This will be fun. I haven't shown this other than just to a few people. Let me see if I can share. There we go. Can you see this?
Yes. Oh, wow.
Not very impressive. There we go. Yes. Let me get rid of my folder here. Look at this. Yeah. Let me get rid of the stuff behind it.
That is really cool.
Is that something? So I created the crystal ball with the circular background with gold stars. It took me 6 text prompts to get what I wanted. And then I said, you have to put a red microphone into it. And then I took me from a picture of one of my shows and I imported it into Photoshop. And this is what it gave me with the little specks on my skin and my fancy glasses I had on and then I added, the real poster has the pictures of the 7 guests at the bottom. Interesting.
Okay. It's very cool crystal ball, and it's just gives a hint of like it could almost be like a snow globe.
Isn't that something? You're absolutely right. Isn't that gorgeous? So that's a combination of AI and me. Thank you. That's a combination of AI and me as the human designer doing what I do. And now I got to get my notes back. And here we are. So it's time for us to share. You got a couple of articles for me?
The last way to relax is somewhat related to taking the stroll in the winter wonderland, which is just lights very low in the house. If you've got some type of either candles, or if you have a tree with lights on it, just that's the only source of light. And then just enjoying a soothing beverage with some type of holiday cookie or snack.
Mm-hmm.
That's just puts you at peace, and it's just a great way to relax. And then if you want to listen to some music or a holiday classic movie, perfect segue into that.
I'll be watching my French detective shows. Rumor has it you and Mary might come IRL in real life and visit me in December. I heard a rumor about that.
I heard a similar rumor.
And if you do, I'll bake something holiday-ish and we'll have a little tipple of something together. Okay.
Okay, sounds fantastic.
Okay, that sounds really, really good to me. So what have you got for say what article, Ken? You want to share visually, or you're just going to talk through it?
No, I'll just talk about them. The first one is satellite imagery identifies strange phenomenon occurring in forests around the world. So you know my background as a scientist, and I'm curious about things, so that definitely caught my attention. And here's the cool thing. We have, as inhabitants of this planet, not always treated the planet as nicely as we should. So there's been areas where we've done massive deforestation and such things. Well, it turns out if you then don't do any more, the trees start to come back all on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's almost like you see some of these futuristic dystopian movies where, like, you see a city being overtaken by vegetation and stuff. It really happens. And I just thought that's a very encouraging thing, that the earth can rebound and life on the planet can rebound if we give it an opportunity to do that. So caught my curiosity, but then it also was an encouraging kind of outcome.
I want to do one. I want to do one and one. I want to go back and forth.
Absolutely.
But you reminded me that my daughter had brought me some. I guess they were amaryllis plants that she had, and she was traveling, and it was last year when I put them in the garage and didn't do anything. Didn't water, didn't cover them. It was a big garage, and it wasn't that cold over the winter. It wasn't that cold. Well, around springtime this year earlier, I went and looked, and the leaves were green and there were pods, and I took them outside and put them on the front porch, and I had about 10 magnificent amaryllis blooms on the two plants. I watered them a little bit. I just said, I love you, welcome back. And they bloomed magnificently with no care over the winter. That was number one. Number two, not this year, last year, I bought a little pumpkin for one of my flower boxes on the front porch, and I put it in, and then I never took it out. And it kind of globbed down into whatever Mother Nature does with pumpkins, and it made a little mushy mess, and the flies were there, and I left it alone. And then the spring came, and yellow flowers rose up out of this, beautiful yellow flowers, and they were very spiny. The stems will hurt your hands.
Oh, yes.
They don't have stickers, but they've got little on them. Yep. And so I had that. It eventually died when we had a brutal cold day one day, and it just, that was it. Or maybe it was the heat. Anyway, that's gone. And then the other thing is I have hibiscus that were planted by the former owner, Charlie, years ago. He's been gone 2 years now, but he was here for 17 years before me, second owner of the house. And he planted hibiscus. I don't know whether it's a bulb, a seed. It must be just a starter. I don't know what he did. And all of a sudden one day I came outside after I'd bought the house. I bought it in October. And the next spring, something's coming out of the ground. There were these white root-like things on the ground in the front border. And I didn't know what they were. And I thought, what are those things? They're like stems. They're like little tree trunks, but they're about 1 inch in diameter, 2 inches in diameter, and they were white. And they were, what are all these things? Well, spring comes and this thing grows up, and it grows to about 8 feet tall. And I had the most gorgeous red, I think they're called blaze hibiscus. The blooms had almost I'm guessing a 10 or 12 inch diameter, Ken. Magnificent. It was the hibiscus. Now, farther down on the same border, there's another thing with these little white stems coming up out of the ground. This one was the same hibiscus, but it didn't want to grow up. It wanted to spread. So it spreads about 6 feet in each direction, and the stems, the stalks, are so heavy you can barely lift them, and the hibiscus flowers are lying on top of each other on the ground. So I had and I found people were stopping by and stealing the seeds because nobody in this neighborhood has the kind of hibiscus I have. So, and then a neighbor who moved in, they rented across the street. They just bought a house a couple blocks away, but they were renting. She went to a local nursery as they were closing out the spring season, and they had hibiscus trees in pots, and they were free. She took 5 home in her SUV, and she came across the street and said, "You've been so nice to me, Bonnie. I'd like to give you a gift." And I looked at it, it was kind of, I don't know if I want to live or not. I put it on the front porch and I started watering it and telling it I loved it. The next thing you know, I have got 4 to 8 hibiscus blooms every day for months.
Okay,
It
so
grew over a foot taller than when she gave it to me, Ken.
yeah,
So
well, I'm starting to look at the details, and it looks like your thumbs are green.
I've been called worse. So
Uh,
I'm a big fan of nature, Mother Nature. Just give me a break, give me a rest, be nice to me, and I will come back in many cases. What do you
yes,
think?
well, yes, it sounds like you like botany then.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So my first story is an interesting one for this season. It's an
Okay,
article in the New York Times. I'm going to share just the image that was in the
okay.
story because I think it's fun. Here we go. Can you see that?
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Shop Talk is a regular feature in the Times that explores the idioms of the business world, insider jargon, newly coined terms, unfortunate or overused phrases. And the title of this one is Returns Are a Headache. More retailers are saying just keep it. So you see, here is the retailer with the cash in hand, and
Sure.
this is the customer, and this is the retailer saying, we don't want it back. We don't want, no, the retailer on the left is saying, don't give me the purse back. You keep it.
Right. Yeah.
And they're giving the money to the customer. That's it. And they're
Wow.
saying, keep the refund, don't bring it back. And let me read the story now. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. So the story is shopping online doesn't always go as planned. That polyester robe might be scratchy. Those sparkly stilettos might be too tall, too small, and you might be too tall. Sometimes when you try to send it back, you get a message. Here's your money, but keep the product. And we don't want the heels either. 59% of retailers have keep it policies for items that are not financially viable to ship back, according to a survey by an organization called Return Pro that helps retailers, including Walmart, manage returns. Most companies will not advertise the policy prominently, Ken. Interesting.
Not surprising.
These are called returnless refunds. They're a response to how to limit the flood of online returns, which are expensive and time consuming for the retailer. One
Yes.
estimate last year from the NRF, National Retail Federation, showed that for every 1 billion in sales, the average retailer sustained $145 million in returns. And it peaks during the holiday season. They say
Of
returns
course.
are a loss leader. It costs more than the item itself.
South. Yeah.
They've always had it for keep it returns furniture and mattresses, like don't bring it back, it's too
Hmm.
cumbersome. And this is applied to during the pandemic. This was
Sure.
spread to other categories: Amazon, Giant, Target, and Temu. I don't want to talk about Temu. Online retailers are most likely to offer keep it returns on low priced items where putting it back into the supply chain is not worth it. 64% of eligible items for such returns cost less than $20, and 83% were less than $30. In a survey, retailers said more and more are going to do this. They use a customer trustworthiness algorithm. Ken, I'm talking to you. They may
Sure.
limit returns from shoppers who return too much. And they do have a profile. If you buy that toaster and
Sure.
that
Sure.
popcorn popper and then you return it every 3 weeks, and they know
Yeah.
who you are. Those who are engaging in bracketing. Do you know what bracketing is?
I'll let you.
Okay. Well, let's say you have a shirt you like and you buy it online.
Sure.
You would buy it in different sizes, and because you don't have a fitting
Oh,
room
right.
online, and you would return the medium and the extra large and keep
Keep the
the
large,
plain
right?
large. Yeah, that's right. And wardrobing, you know what wardrobing is?
No.
They do it on TV all the time. You buy a dress for a party or an event, and you don't have any intention of you
Yeah.
intend to return it. You're not keeping
Yes.
it.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Leave the
Okay.
tags
I
on.
did
Yes.
not know the name of it though. Okay.
It's called wardrobing. They use scanners in warehouses to detect problems in items that would make them ineligible for a refund. So if that dress is sweaty, they will know. So that was my first time. So interesting. So you might get a returnless refund. It's called Many
Okay.
Happy Non-Returns of the Day. Okay, Ken, what's your next one?
Okay.
That was a mouthful.
No, no, that was great. And again, my background in science. So
Hmm.
This article said that the age-old, I don't know if I actually have the article title. Which came first, the chicken or the egg, has finally been scientifically answered.
Do we need, well, hold on. I think we need confetti for this. What do we, yes, we need confetti. Okay. Da, 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 da. Okay. Go ahead.
And do you want to weigh in on this?
No.
Okay. The chicken.
I'm not chicken about eggs. Go ahead.
Okay. The chicken.
Yeah.
Okay. And that didn't surprise me. I've always felt that. And not just felt it. I believed it because a chicken produces an egg yields a chicken, but it doesn't produce the chicken. So, but now they have found a very specific protein, OC17, that is essential for making the eggshell. And the only place it exists is in the ovaries of chickens. So you have to have a chicken to make the egg. Now, if you leave it general, and I never thought of it this way, I always thought of it in context. Which came first, the chicken or any kind of egg? That's a completely different question. But if you're talking about which came first, the chicken or the chicken egg, it's the chicken. And it's just, I guess the most powerful sentence in the article was, meaning a chicken egg could not exist without a pre-existing chicken to produce that protein. So now that question is, I guess it's irrelevant. It doesn't have any weight anymore.
Oh, it will.
Clearly
It
the
will.
chicken.
People will still find the rhetoricals and the redundancies and all of that. And the question is, what kind of an egg produced the chicken that produced the chicken egg? Right? Is that a tautology? Are we on a Mobius strip there?
Possibly, yes.
Probably haven't heard that word.
Now, if someone wants to look into this more and you Google it, the interesting thing is it will take you to a bunch of articles that are actually nutrition based. Like, if I want to get more protein in my diet, should I eat eggs or should I eat chicken?
Well,
so you have to be very discerning with the articles you're searching for in order to get the specifics about this one.
One does. Well, I'm going to make tapioca this afternoon. They sell it now in a little tiny box. It's about 5 inches tall by an inch wide.
Okay.
The tapioca, the little pearls, and
sure.
I think it requires 1 egg, and you beat the whites, and then you use the yolk to mix in with 2 cups of milk and all. I don't know why I brought that up, but my favorite version of eggs now these days is 2 versions. One, I'll take a piece of good, I call it Killer Dave, but it's Dave's Killer Bread, wonderful bread.
Yes, I've actually had it.
Love it. It's hard to get in some supermarkets. It sells out pretty fast once people know about it. And I will cut a little hole in the middle of the bread with a cup or a cookie cutter and put it in, saute it with a little bit of butter, real butter, unsalted, and then I'll drop an egg into the hole and make a sunny side egg and very carefully let it all just sit there in the middle. And then when it's slightly set, flip it over and cook the top. And then that's a sunny side egg in it's called egg in the hole or something like that. It's a really, really good way to eat it. And then the other thing is I like scrambled eggs with a little bit of sour cream on top, real sour cream. You put a little bit in the eggs, mix the egg with a little bit of water, 2 extra large eggs, and you mix a little bit of water and a little bit of sour cream. And then when you're done, you spread a little bit of sour cream, a little bit of salt on top. I'm watching salt these days, and it makes a delicious lunch. My second article, Ken, I have to share. You are going to love this one. You are going to, I think you're going to adore this one. Okay. Do you know what we're looking at? Look at this. This is a Starry Night Retreat. Van Gogh inspired. Is that neat? I picked this article for you. In a profound marriage of art and nature, a Vincent van Gogh inspired, Mary will love this one, retreat in the Balkans is set to start welcoming visitors next spring. It's the pet project of Halim Zukic, who planted 130,000 herb bushes in various shades and colors to emulate the iconic celestial swirls in the 1889 painting, The Starry Night. Is that gorgeous? Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger.
And that's so
That
neat that we can
is
have
that
this aerial view of it.
is
Yes.
that something? Look at this.
Mhm.
These are 130,000 herb bushes. He conceived of it 6 years ago, noticing wheel tractor marks left in a meadow near his house in central Bosnia. Reminded of Van Gogh, he began envisioning a unique escape where visitors could reconnect with essential elements of their being and engage their senses, his daughter said.
Neat. That's
It's
neat.
25 acres. It's one element of a sprawling plot, which is a total of 173 acres with 13 lakes and thousands of trees. He hopes
Neat.
it will attract artists from around the globe. And listen to this. He plans for it to be an open air museum and cultural hub. And he says, ultimately, this release retreat is a unique homage to Vincent van Gogh and to
Indeed.
all those who dared to be different, who
Yes,
followed their inner callings despite the material sacrifices such a path may bring. Is that something?
it is. That's neat.
Yep, I picked that for you. I
You were
thought you
right.
would enjoy
Yeah,
that.
I did and do.
Okay, what's your last one?
All right, my last one. Let's see. Where did you go? Oh, here it is.
Okay.
All right. This one is the Sphinx of Bulistan just a rock formation?
Hmm.
So, you have probably seen nature produces some very interesting um, uh, shapes uh, due to erosion and weathering, deposition. And so there is kind of a little bit of a debate going on, although it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. Some people are saying, no, this is just caused by nature. Other people are saying, no, it's an actual, we found another Sphinx that was produced by man. And I guess the interesting thing to me is that it brings up this whole question about these awesome, monumental, ancient structures that were built. How on earth did we do that? You know, you think about the pyramids,
Mm-hmm.
and we may have talked about this last time. Engineers today couldn't build a pyramid with all the modern technology we have. How on earth did a ancient civilization, a more primitive civilization, put one of these together and put it together so well? So I just thought that'll be fun to see how that kind of
That
um,
falls in the category of enigma, right?
it does indeed. The weird thing about it is this was only discovered very recently. You'd think like, oh, you know, like the only place you can go on Earth and discover something new is the deepest parts of the ocean. No, this is on the surface, and this just came to surface. You know, in the 21st century. Is how amazing is that?
Aren't we playing with our language today? I have one more that may or may not be as amazing as yours. And here's the picture. This is the Cyclone, which is
Oh,
97 years old. It's a roller coaster, the
hmm,
crown jewel of Luna Park, Coney Island, that's Brooklyn, New York, the
yes,
seaside amusement, talking about amusement complex in Brooklyn. It was
yes.
taken out of service 1 week before Labor Day weekend this year. Why? It was making its, are you ready? Put your seatbelt on, 85-foot ascent up when operators abruptly stopped it because of a crack in a piece of the motor room machinery in the motor room called a chain sprocket. No one was hurt, and the workers helped people climb down. I don't know how high up they were. It's a steel and wood designated New York City landmark. It debuted in 1927. The Zamperia family revived the park after the financial crisis in 2008, and the Cyclone, which has a blazing red sign, you can see that, although it's not
Hmm.
exactly blazing. It has remained one of their selling points. During the opening day in 2015, the Cyclone got stuck several feet from the uppermost track after the transmission belt slipped off the drum, causing the car to lurch to a halt. No Adams family. When it reopened the next weekend, 7 of the 12 stuck passengers were given park vouchers
Uh,
and they came back and they rode for free. Update, and this is the update on this story. The Cyclone reopened on Saturday, September 7th of this year. It was closed for repairs, as I just mentioned. It was closed about a week. And a young man named Alexander, looks like a Russian spelling, 28, who grew up nearby. He rides a Cyclone every year. Then he said, It will definitely outlive me, I'm pretty sure. Listen to this. I'd prefer if the lights were still broken because that's how I remember it. So apparently the lights on the Cyclone were out at some point, and this 28-year-old remembers that there were no lights. Imagine being on a roller coaster with no lights. There must have been lights in the park around it, though.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Sure. No, I'll wave at you if you want to go take you and Mary go to Brooklyn and take the Cyclone. Ken, any closing thoughts? We've been talking over an hour. My goodness gracious.
Well, I remember last time I said it was about an hour, and you said, "Oh no," and then you checked it, and it was like 50 minutes or something. So it's easy for time to fly with us.
When you're having a good conversation, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'm setting up for the music close. Any closing thoughts on what are you doing for Turkey Day? May I ask?
Consuming turkey.
Okay.
Yeah, we're hosting some people over, and we're just
Nice.
it's very low key, so not gonna, it's, as I've said to a few people, it's not like we're inviting heads of state over. It's okay to have it
no
be
comment.
down to
we
earth.
Don't do politics here.
No.
Just leave that one alone. Just leave that alone.
No, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
It's not like a formal affair. How's that?
I got it.
Yeah, it'll just be fun. Everybody will bring a little something, and it'll just, again, the present is the presence.
Absolutely. I'm cooking starting tomorrow. I've just taken the 5.5-pound turkey breast. I've never cooked just a turkey breast, but I decided since it's just 3 of us and we're not big eaters anymore, why start with a whole 12 or 14-pound turkey? I just didn't want to do it. So this is an hour and a half of cooking instead of 3 hours of cooking. I'm making homemade cranberry sauce. I'll do that today. I'm making sweet potato casserole, the Bruce's yams in the sweet syrup. Yes, not the natural. And I'm adding cut up pineapple chunks and then putting marshmallows on top, and that will bake until the marshmallows get golden. And fresh green beans steamed. My son-in-law doesn't like the mushroom soup. French fried onions on top. So it'll be very simple and healthier too. No rolls, no bread. And pumpkin pie for dessert. I bought a graham cracker crust already made, and I bought the pumpkins and not the pumpkins, the mix, and I will be making my own. I bought the pureed pumpkin, unflavored, unseasoned, and I have the pumpkin pie spice, and I have the nutmeg and all the things that go into it that make it extra special. I decided not to buy eggnog this year because it only comes this time of the year, and there's a wonderful brand in my grocery store, and they had it 2 weeks ago, starting the season. Talk about season early, Ken.
Yeah,
they already had it, and I brought a quart of it, and I brought it home, and 2 days later it was gone, and I got a tummy ache. And I said to myself, we're skipping the eggnog and skipping the calories. So instead, when I make my morning banana milkshake, I can put a little bit of cinnamon and nutmeg in it, or just the pumpkin pie spice into the milk and the little bit of ice cream and the banana and make my own pretend eggnog without all of the heavy duty calories. So that's it. So they're coming tomorrow, and I've got the turkey out of the freezer, and I'm told it's 24 hours for 5 pounds. So it should be fairly defrosted by tomorrow morning. If not, we just fire it up in the microwave or in a sink full of warm water, and we'll figure it out. So Ken, it's been lovely speaking with you, and thank you for saying, I want to come back. You did.
Yes, I did.
Anytime is fine. I think Martin's going to do once a month, so we'll talk to you about a regular schedule if you want. I'm Bonnie D, and I want to say a shout out to all my viewers, my listeners around the world. This is a new series, so there might not be many of you paying attention, but Technology Revolution, the Future of Now, Read My Lips, Cool Conversations with Creatives with akaRadioRed, those are mine, and We Dish Two Saucy Dames. I want to say thank you for listening, for watching, for caring, for even spending 2 minutes of your time occasionally to watch me on YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook. It means a lot. I hope I am sharing from my heart. It's always live. It's not edited. I believe in live streaming. I believe in being the real deal. Don't pretend to be anything else. And I wish you all a happy, as I like to say, a happy, delicious, and gratitude-stuffed Thanksgiving for those of you in the parts of North America that celebrate this. So we're going to put on the music, and I'm grateful also to my guest Ken, and I'm grateful to Serge Hoffman, who has composed the music and is singing my lyrics to So You Want to Be, and we're going to put that on right now, and it looks like everything should be a go, and let's see if we can hear it, Ken. Here we go.
All right.
Got it?
Yeah, definitely hearing it.
Stick around, we'll talk after.
So you wanna be
So you want to be a cool kid, a cool dude. He is. He is a cool dude. He's smart. He's scientific. He's a nerd, just like me. We're geeks. We love tech. We like numbers. What can I tell you? We like drums. We like words. We like language. We like talking. Here we go. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Indeed.
I'm going to lower the music and I'm going to say bye-bye. Don't